When we come back, we've got some artwork to show you. There's going to be an art gallery showing. It's going to be in Racine, and I think you'll be very surprised to find out who the artists are. More on that as our show continues here on TV 55. And welcome back to Kenosha Report. Coming up in a couple of weeks is going to be an art show, a unique art show in Racine. The piece you're looking at now is called Sailing. And I think you'll be surprised to hear about the artist. Joining us now is J.J. Masterson, and he's going to be behind this art show, helping put it together. Welcome to Kenosha Report.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us the name and the age of the artist of this piece called Sailing.
That particular one was done by my son, Clemens, who at the time was 2 years old.
A 2-year-old?
Yes.
That's a magnificent-looking piece.
Thank you, thank you. It was startling to see what he could actually do.
Now, you have 2 sons, and their ages now are, what, 6 and...
6 and 2. They'll be 7 and 3 by the end of the summer.
And both your boys have become pretty good artists, but you've also taken the time to recognize and to move this talent along, right?
That's what I've tried to do, yes.
Yeah. So tell us about your first son.
My oldest son, Seamus, he's at Fine Arts, Stephen Bull Fine Arts in Racine. He'll be going into the 2nd grade. I've been a house husband, or a domestic engineer, as I prefer to call it, for the last 3 years. And that's allowed me to stay home with them and really put a lot of time in and spend time with them. Seamus was 4 at the time, and he started doing some drawings. One actually won a competition at his elementary school. He also does writing. Now he's much more into soccer, but he still does a lot of the art.
So, and then you continued on, too, then, with the youngest, Clemens, right?
Yes. I started staying home full-time when Clemens was born. And while I was doing preschool kind of things with Seamus, Clemens was just an infant that first year. But the 2nd year, when he was 1.5 or so, I started just giving him art supplies and letting him go. And maybe 1 out of every 10 pieces, I would turn and twist and say, wow, this is a sailboat on water. And that's pretty much how it's happened. Now, the first piece,
another piece we've got here is called Dinosaur Parade. Tell us about this.
Dinosaur Parade was done by my oldest son, Seamus. It's a crayon drawing. He was very much into dinosaurs a few years ago, and everything he did was dinosaurs. And that was done in 1994 when he was 4 years old.
Maybe at the time the Jurassic Park came out or something?
Yes, yes, very much.
All right, another piece here. Then you've entitled this Madonna in Prayer.
This was done by my younger son just around Christmas time last year in watercolor. And it's very simple, but I can't remember what position he did it in initially, but when I turned it to the position that we see now, it looked like a cloaked woman, very much a feminine face, and her hands seemed to be up in prayer. And with the blue in it, whenever you see the Virgin Mother, she's usually in a blue cloak. It just looked like the Madonna in prayer to me.
All right, here's one called Geo Design. Now, this is pretty complicated.
This was done by my older son, Seamus. He did this when he was 6. He sat for probably 2 or 3 hours and just went away with it. What you see is actually a graphic scan. I have a friend that works for a company, Racine Web Services, does all kinds of great things for me, helping to produce these pieces you see.
All right, and this next one is called?
Lady in Red.
Ah, okay.
Lady in Red was done by my youngest, Clemens. He did this about Christmas time, and it was a very simple marker drawing that when I twisted it around in the position we see, it was a lady in red.
Now, some of these, it looks like, do you have print numbers on the bottom of these, or have you created prints of these now?
Yes, I have, and I decided to run 25 of each one,
really?
So that if someday, perhaps, they become famous, and some lucky individual purchases one at the show, that limited number print may be worth more than the $12 they pay for it.
Okay, so, you know, let's say that my daughter or son creates an artwork that I think is really terrific. How could I make copies of that and at least send it out to the friends and relatives at the holidays?
That's a fabulous way to start doing it and to recognize their work. You can do it in a couple ways. If you have computer equipment, desktop publishing, right. A lot of these things are great scanned. And then just print them out on high-quality paper. Or if you have like an original watercolor, I've amazingly found that good digital color photocopying on a heavy bond paper like 65 white will make the colors even more vibrant than the original. It costs about $1.10.
Now, I understand this next piece we're going to look at was inspired by the TV show The X-Files.
Yes, this is one by my oldest son, Seamus. It's marker, crayon, craypa. There was an episode of The X-Files about a Mexican legend, El Chupacabra. And it was amazing. I looked at this thing right after the episode, which he didn't watch X-Files. He's too young for that. But I had watched it, and that's what I named. I do name all of the pieces.
The next one is named in honor of the running of the bulls.
Yes, Pamplona. Again, one of the ones that I just happened to twist and said, wow, that looks like a bull running.
Here's something the boys did in honor of their mom on Mother's Day. These handprints, that's nice.
Yes, and this is another one that I used some computer assistance on, and it's their actual handprints, and we came up with a catchy phrase. They helped me with it, and framed and matted it for her.
And this next one is some watercolors, and this is called Tropical Storm.
Yes, this is actually a print, one of the color photocopies I spoke of earlier. This was done by my youngest son, Clemens, and the frame on this and the matting, I think, really helps bring out the picture, which is something that adults out there can really do themselves to help contribute, is the way you present it, frame it, and mat it. Can really bring out something you don't see without it.
Now here's a collection of these strips of paper, and what do you call this?
This is Seasons in Mist. This was done by my older son, Seamus. Watercolors on crinkled up paper that we mounted and appeared to be seasons to us.
This next one is called Crazy Bird, and that's kind of a wild background that you put this piece on too, huh?
It was kind of a wild picture if you look at it. It's cut pieces put together that were done with watercolor, marker, lots of different things, done by my youngest son, Clemens.
All right, and this last piece is very busy. What's this called?
Screaming Maniac. It was watercolor and marker done by my youngest son, Clemens. I sure hope it wasn't his idea of Dad.
All right. And finally, then, you have these two books now. Did you encourage the kids to do the work in this kind of a journal format?
Yeah, we actually had a game that we then developed into a bedtime story and then finally into an actual story in a book. This was done by my oldest son, Seamus. Clemens can't read or write yet. And basically, it's just his story. It's authentic children's literature. He will be reading that aloud for the audience at our show coming up.
All right, yeah, JJ and his sons will be meeting the public on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, the 13th of July, at Center City Expresso. And let's see, what time is it? The show starts at 2 o'clock?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called the 21st Century Folk Punk Fund Artist Reception. Folk punk is a genre of art I created several years ago, and it basically means folk, anybody can partake. Punk, you treat it like you're a master, even if you're nobody, kind of audacious, but it's accepted and it looks good.
And some of the proceeds then will help out with your son's
college fund in the 21st century.
That's great. JJ, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here. From all of us here at TV 55, Michael Clemens saying so long. Have a great day.